Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Wild Earth Safari this afternoon. My name is Mark, with Daniel on camera, and at the moment Herman in final control, and we're about to give you our best this afternoon and the next couple of hours as we drive around here. It does require quite an effort. Keeping cables safe from elephants and baboons and the like. Hello, guinea fowl. Hello, guinea fowl. You can all go straight along, and I'm going to go this way. No, go that way. Go that way. Go that way. Thank you. Here we go. They take direction quite well. Well, welcome everybody. Just in case you missed the beginning of the drive a couple of minutes ago, we do have streaming problems. Well, it's technical stuff. Hello, geese. What are you up to? They were shouting earlier on the other side of the dam. They're now sitting here in this little floodplain. Welcome to Wild Earth Safari this afternoon. My name is Mark. Welcome all. Hope you're going to enjoy the afternoon with us. Daniel with me on camera. Oh, sorry, Heron. Gosh, I didn't see you there. I wonder where our reptile is. A lot of competition now. Hippos and buffaloes. Competition for some of the choicest spots around the edge of the dam. Few weather changes taking place at the moment as well. At the moment it's a beautiful warm afternoon. Blue skies above us, but a lot of cloud and around the edges of the sky, horizon. Showing there is rain activity. We had intermittent rain during the night, but it wasn't even enough to wet the ground. It always sounds so much worse on a tin roof. But just looking at the dust, there hasn't been much of a change. But being full moon, no doubt a higher possibility or a higher probability of weather changes. There's some pretty heavy cloud in the south that might be moving up tonight. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Not that there's any likelihood of raining for drive, but for interest's sake, just keep an eye on it. if anything, this little bit of cloud makes the glare a little bit worse. It's very bright this afternoon. What do you think, squirrel? Got the skin of one of the wild cucumbers. It just has to be a little branch in the way. Now it's interesting that I've noticed the primates, they eat the inside of this particular cucumber. Yet for some of the other cucumbers, they only eat the skin. And it's the time of the year when a lot of these wild cucumbers are flowering, so maybe we can, or rather fruiting. So maybe we can find a couple of them and I can show you. That one's more hairy than spiny. And that's the one that some of the animals eat the inside of it. The ones that are very spiny are the ones that the monkeys eat the skin of. But I've had a friend in East Africa who belonged to a group that well, he was the leader of the Hadza people. The Hadza tribe is quite a unique tribe of people up in East Africa, northern Tanzania. And they're the only group of people out of hundreds of different tribal groups in East Africa. They're the only people in East Africa that have links to the Bushmen or the Sand people of South Africa or Kalahari, Botswana. And they also have this click language, a language that is full of clicks, and it also has similar roots to the Khoi and the San of southern Africa. They must have migrated up there at some point in their past. But anyways, we used to go for walks in Tarangire, and he used to pick up these cucumbers. It's the same species that I'm talking about now, and he too used to eat these, and they have very, very sharp spines on these cucumbers. He used to be able to eat this, where with us I think it would pierce our gums. I mean, it would prick our lips, but he wouldn't really eat so much the seed center. I'll keep my eye out for some of these wild cucumbers. There are several different species fruiting at the moment. Cucumis, and the family is Cucurbitae. All the squash family. Okay, let's see what we can find down here. Just going to have a look and see what Karula, if she's here. I'm not seeing any Impala around here, so maybe those Impala were closer to, say, Yuri's house that they were shouting. And we've come all the way over here, and there might be some action going on the open area. So shortly after we're done down below the lodge here, we're going to go back around to the open area and investigate there. It's distorting. Being at camp and hearing sounds, for me at any rate, trying to pinpoint whereabouts those sounds would come from. And you think that maybe it's the dam, or maybe it's Yuri's house. And from camp the angle is quite awkward to try and pinpoint it. Also, I can't believe Karula's been here for a couple of days now in the camp. There have been no guests, so she hasn't been disturbed by humans as much as they would do so if they were guests, because there'd be a lot more staff moving around, there'd be people moving around, and she'd probably feel a lot more uneasy about being in camp. I think the very fact that there have been nobody no guests means that there hasn't been that many of the staff, many members of staff moving around. And I think her holiday, her safari vacation is about to be compromised. Guests are coming in tomorrow. Seems to be just the case. The other day when she was seen here, I came along, couldn't find her. I disappeared, she was seen. Once again, she was seen here only a few minutes ago. Now that we're here, no sign of the cat. There she is. No sign of the cat indeed. Hello, Karula. Lying next to the room. Yeah, this has got to be really something extraordinary for guests who come to a lodge from overseas and you find out that a leopard and her cubs are lying around one of the rooms, or has been for the last few days. I know some people might think, oh well, it's a tame leopard or something, but the fact that she's a wild leopard, we've watched her hunt, we've watched her on kills, we've watched her raise 3 litters of cubs, or 2.5 at any rate. Okay, let's move in for a little bit of a closer look as if we can. Nicely camouflaged. The rooms are the same color as her. Maybe that's what it is. The rooms have these similar colors. Waterbuck are just behind us. Those waterbuck we saw when we were starting up this afternoon. They're moving away from the dam. Of course, they are not in any danger from Karula. They might move away just because she is around. They might just not want to be around a predator. But as far as her hunting them is concerned, not really likely that Karula will be able to take down a waterbuck. Even one of the calves, probably difficult for her. Might not be able to see anything from here. One of the cubs, oh, 2 of them, right at the room, at the window. It's quite incredible. And I'd book that room just on principle, whether she was there or not. Just the fact that I could stay in a room that had leopard lying around the outside of it. Okay, this is not the greatest of views. We're a little bit too low, and the sedges are in the way. This sedge grass, by the way, that's in the way, is the grass that is used for making sleeping mats. Making? Sleeping mats. A very typical Shangaan method of weaving those strands. They dry them first, and they make the loom out of string and batteries. Cubs looking in the window. I'm a little bit low, can you see it? Yeah, but I'm just going to try and reverse onto that higher, that little knoll, just a little bit further back. Oh wow, there's a huge praying mantis egg case up ahead. Look at that. And there's a photo for a caption for you. Leopard cub looking into the window of a luxury lodge. The room of a luxury lodge, looking at the quilted bed. I don't know if they're quilted, but lush, or rather luxurious interior. It's probably thinking, I want to get in there to that aircon. Hot afternoon. Oh, that tree's in the way again. Okay, well, we're going to leave them be. We're going to go for a drive. They are around here. Hopefully we might see them a little later. But we don't really have a clear view of them. And I think let's go and find something else. As I said earlier, something up my sleeve to think about for a little bit later on in the drive. Or now, I think what we'll do is we'll go up to the open area and investigate. Yes, Impala up ahead, just running away. Very little girl. Aaron. Hello, Aaron. Welcome to our drive this afternoon. Do we take time off at holidays and Christmas? Nope. We are here 365 and a quarter days a year. Don't forget the quarter day. We're here every day. We all do take time off. We all work a particular stretch and take a couple of weeks off. Basically, we accumulate our weekend time. So after 6 weeks, we take a couple of weeks break and we all rotate. Wow, there's some pretty heavy weather in the west. Sorry to digress. Looks like it must be raining over the escarpment. I think we might be in for some more rain actually. It's going to turn things very cold, but looking at that big front coming in. Interesting for this time of the year. But Aaron, you will always find us here in Wild Earth Safari. Christmas, New Year. Easter, Rosh Hashanah, Hanukkah. What's the Festival of Light again? Big waterbuck bull, and I'm just looking, I think there's another one on the other side of the dam. Diwali, Festival of Light. No, it's a big Nyala bull. We'll be able to get the two of them in one shot. Well, look at this. Here we go. Waterbuck, Nyala, the back. Well, they were nicely lined up, but of course they have to move. You hire extras and you get them to sort of take their positions for an afternoon safari, and you say, okay, now stand there and don't move until we, and what do? They move before they're cued to move. And there's Mr. Waterbuck's wife and child. The other females, in fact, probably part of the group we saw in front of the lodge. They've moved up this way. I just want to do something I wanted to do earlier and actually been meaning to do for a while now. I don't know if I will be able to. This is an extremely heavy piece of tree. drive around it all the time. Beautiful piece of zebra wood, stunning. But I've said that a few times already, every time I come past it. You don't get zebra woods that big anymore. Elephants don't let them get that big. Or you will get them that big, you just won't get them where there are elephants. Elephants like the roots of the zebra wood. I wouldn't be half surprised if there's some medicinal value to it, which is why every now and then they'll go for the zebra wood root, in amongst all the combretum and bush willow root that they're getting. Wonder if we'll find tracks. But there's, oh no, I see. I wish we had the camera. Yeah, looks a little bit smaller, but that's because it's just the front part of it sticking out. But that's right in front of where the camera used to be. And if the camera used to be there, we would be able to look straight down its throat. Spike the crocodile. Stop fighting, drongos. Behave. It's not nice. Older drongo chasing a younger drongo. Well, I suppose it's part of nature. Probably the youngster doesn't want to leave. And parent is saying, my insect, my territory, you'll find your own. Oh, what's the heron got? Heron just caught something. Came up with a beak full of grasses, vegetation. But it's got a frog. Dipping the frog. Having a bit of salad with its frog legs this afternoon. Pardon?
Drowning.
Yeah, it also dips it in to wash all the slime off of it, because the frog is a defensive mechanism. Covers it, it does produce a little bit of a slimy. That would probably be one of the clawed toads or clawed frogs. Xenopus. Okay. Like one there where that bird just flew out of. Sorry, that's from Adam. Hello, Adam. Mr. Oh, sorry, mongoose. Oh, stopped in the road to look at us. Lovely, big, slender mongoose. That's the greenwood. How many cheetah do we have? Well, Adam here at Djuma Game Reserve, at the moment, I don't think any cheetah. Here in the Sabi Sand, at any one time, I wouldn't be able to even give you a figure, maybe 20 or 30. Here in the whole of Kruger, because after all, you see, as far as the animals are concerned, when people are inquiring about how many of any particular animal do we have, often it will obviously depend on whether the animals are territorial or not. And if there are animals that are territorial, gosh, why was I stuttering? Perhaps we could give you a figure of just here at Djuma, but even then you're always going to have nomads. But I think if I can maybe explain, as far as human beings are concerned and our activity, we are based here at Djuma Game Reserve. That is our sole area that we cover. It is but a fraction of the area that the animals cover. So when we're talking about the numbers of any species, we can't give you a figure for a very small area. It would be like saying, if I had to choose any city in the world, let's just say Chicago, for example, and we had somebody who had a big estate in see, that's not a nice analogy because humans have walls and fences and things like that. Let me try and put it another way. As far as the animals are concerned, they have several million acres, or even several million hectares, which makes more million acres to move around in. And because the land is open to other properties here in the Sabi Sand, and the Sabi Sand is open to Kruger, Kruger is open to Manyaleti and to Timbavati and Umbabat and Baluli and Olifants and a lot of other private game reserves, as well as it is open to an area in Mozambique. There is an exceptionally large area of Kruger. I mean, Kruger is bigger than Lebanon, it's bigger than Israel, it's bigger than some other small countries. So to give you a figure of how many animals there are in such a large area, we can only give you an estimate. And as far as cheetah are concerned, I think there are probably only about 250, 300. I can't remember. I don't think I have that little species count that I once had a while ago of the latest figures that are estimated by the Parks Board. But I was just trying to impress upon you, Adam, that it's not very easy, being one of the largest national parks in the continent, and Africa is very big, it's not very easy to give you any figures of numbers, because the way that things are done, there are always going to be individuals that don't get noticed by humans. Now, as far as cheetah are concerned, over a period of several years, there was a project that was initiated by the Parks Board and by people who were studying cheetah, asking for photographs, side-on photographs, front-on photographs of any cheetah they saw anywhere in the park or the private reserves. And it was through that kind of project that the authorities, the Parks Board, scientists, were able to correlate all that information. It was through that project that they were able to maybe narrow that figure down to something more accurate, because they could tell that, say, an individual, well, they could tell all the individuals by the spot pattern on their faces, and they could differentiate between all the different cheetah. And so that was one way of trying to figure out the best way to establish numbers. A very similar project was done with the wild dog, African hunting dogs, and far fewer dogs were it was discovered that there were actually far fewer wild dog in the park than originally thought, because dogs that they saw in one area of the park were actually the same pack that was seen 50, 80 kilometers away, where in the past they would have always thought there was a different pack of dogs. But it's through that photographic evidence that it has become clear that some individuals cover vast distances. Now here's a huge herd of Impala. I'm not going to stop with them just yet. I'm going to make my way back to the southern end, rather the northern end. I don't think this was it definitely wasn't this group of Impala that was shouting earlier. Could have been some Impala in the camp itself shouting at Karula. I had a copy of the report of some of the figures of animals that were released by to the media, rather, by the Parks Board, on the numbers of animals last year after game census and counts and those. But I don't know, ever since school, my capacity for memorizing that kind of data is non-existent. Just a long list of every single mammal species and their supposed figures doesn't stay in my head. I'm not too sure what I did with that piece of paper. I might have it. I'll have a look in a minute. Okay, well, I think we can safely say that not much is happening on the northern end of the open area. I don't know where these impala would have been that were shouting. It's not that big group. Quite sad, we've lost our wildebeest. We don't have our resident wildebeest here at the moment. They've been away for a while. In fact, they've pretty much been gone ever since the lionesses killed that one here on the open area. The bull was around pining for his ladies, and he's now disappeared. And it could well be that we're not going to have any wildebeest here throughout the dry season. Baboon's making a noise. That's a lone female impala. Let's see, we've got baboons making a noise now. We're going to investigate this little trick I had up my sleeve. So I'm cutting across the open area to go and have a closer look. Thank you, Jack, Long Island. Jack saying in 2005 a census in Kruger showed about 100 and something cheetah, 105 cheetah. They're the baboons. Let's stop here quickly. Actually, they were all coming onto the open area. They were barking a little bit. Now this is right in front. We're now on the western side of one of the houses that is used by some of us here at Wild Earth TV, Wild Earth Safari, and there is something I need to find and show you on the eastern side of the house, which is probably why these baboon are barking. I think there was slightly more cheetah around in the 2009-2010 census. Shirley with her new baby. Hello again, Adam. Adam wants to know if we have any parrots in this area. Yes, we do, Adam. Listen out for them this afternoon. Probably a lot of the parrots are around the jackalberries at the moment. Jackalberries are starting to fruit, or perhaps even the torchwoods. We have the brown-headed parrot, the only parrot we get here in this region. Yeah, I see it from here now. Actually, Impala there with those baboons. This looks like it's been here for a couple of days already. At least 2 days. The remains of an Impala in a tree here that we noticed this morning, but I'm just looking at it, and I mean, that, I don't know, if it was Karula, she would probably still be here and the cubs would be sticking. They wouldn't be as far. It's a big ram too. Well, it's a 3-year-old ram. But there is so much eaten off of this carcass already that there's very little left, and doubtful whether a leopard is even going to come back to it. And I'm wondering if maybe it's not one of the boys, one of Karula's cubs from her previous litter. Guess we can't call them cubs anymore. They're young adults. Let's make a trip around and have a look at some of these shady spots at the base of some of these trees. With a fair amount of that carcass hanging down there. It's got Induna written all over it. Very little left. A little bit of the neck. Oh, it's got to have been there for at least 2 or 3 days. How we didn't see it before, I don't know. Especially having opened up there yesterday morning. and we were looking into the sun in this direction, or that we didn't hear things, both, well, when we were at dinner and when we were sitting out on the step last night in the moonlight. But I have a funny feeling that this cat has left the building. Here's the house right here. It just goes to show that despite the fact that we are in their part of the world, they still carry on their lives regardless of what we do and where we are. Hunting right next to the house. I mean, Karula in the camp there. This leopard, if it was a different one, I think it possibly was. I think if it was Karula and cubs. Then again, I can think of reasons why it might have been her as well. That it might have been, she comes back, she's been coming back to feed on it. She's been taking her cubs back to the lodge because they're safer from hyena there. And this is bound to bring hyena sniffing around. But unfortunately impossible to tell unless we find some tracks in the vicinity. Thanks to Mike Moss and David for forwarding me some info on animal numbers. I do have a list somewhere in one of my books of the last game count. But I'm not in the habit of memorizing that sort of stuff. And I can remember it said something about 14,000 elephants, if I remember correctly. There's leopard dung down there. William, morning, afternoon, evening, whatever your time zone may be. William wants to know, when is the dry season? It is beginning, William. This is the beginning of the dry season at the moment. We are coming out of summer. This rain that we had early this morning and this weather that we're getting now, this build-up of cloud, is a little bit unseasonal. But although it might be unseasonal, we are going into a full moon. Now, even in the middle of the dry season, I have, like in July, which is the middle of our winter dry season, I've recorded rainfall, thunderstorms even, in the middle of winter on a full moon. So the weather we're having now has mostly got to do with the moon more than anything else, moon and planets. And if we do get any rain in the next few days, I think we can be pretty sure it's going to be the last rain we're going to have for a while. But as the sun's going down, this cloud is receding. It's not building up. It's probably because the temperature's dropping. So with the temperature dropping, there's not that much evaporation and not that much condensation up there. I think we'll just have to come back here this evening. and investigate. Hello Dave. Dave Keane, been with us a long time. Nice to have you with us again, Dave. Asking what will happen to the horns on that Impala carcass. Depends, Dave. If they're stuck in that tree forever, nothing will happen to them. If they eventually fall down, there's a strong possibility that most of the flesh and the skin and some of the softer parts will get eaten. The thing is, you see at the moment, going into the dry season, we don't have a lot of the insects around that generally would clean up the little bits of a carcass that the predators and the scavengers don't get to. And the hyena might chew part of the skull, but they will always leave the skull, the top of the cranium where the horns, with the horns, because that's all part of the bone and it's all pretty difficult to chew. But in the summer months, in the wet season, the larva of the moth, known as the horn borer moth, will eat the outer covering of the horn, and so often after a summer or two you will find only the bony interior of the horns, that part of it that is bone and attached to the skull. The horny outer covering can be eaten away. But sometimes when an animal dies this time of the year, or is killed at this time of the year, I don't think there are any more horn borer moths that'll be laying eggs now and boring into it right now. Might need to wait until wet weather next season. But then again, might be never. It's mostly things like buffalo. You get a lot more buffalo and kudu, the larger antelope. Depends on whether they find it or not. I've seen horns lying in the bush for years and horn borers never get into them. So it's not a given that the horn borer moth, being one of the only creatures that eat that horny outer covering of the horn, not every time that you will find them. Right, we're on Twin Dams Road. Let's head south. We'll come back towards this carcass and towards Inga's house and the lodge a little bit later and find leopards. For now, we're going to go and look for some other things. Let's go down Twin Dams Road down south. There's some zebra tracks here, so there must have been zebra at the dam today. There might be a cheetah having a dust bath there somewhere. Hello, Alan. Are we planning another ranger race soon? No, I don't think so. With only Tara and myself here at the moment, I think we're a little bit busy with other things. We've got quite a lot on our plate at the moment, and so in the immediate future, I can't say that we're likely to have a rangers race in the next week or two. I think we're going to need to eventually find ourselves a new presenter and get into a new routine before we can do something like that. Any new presenter would have to get to be comfortable with the roads and being part of the team, and it wouldn't be fair to anyone new. Was that a sneeze? What was it? It wouldn't be fair to a new presenter to do a ranger race with them not knowing the property that well and where to find animals. So I think actually more than just the next couple of weeks, I think we're not likely to have a rangers race for a while yet. That was a honey guard. That is a honey guard. Honey guard that's stopped in that silver cluster leaf. Gone. That cloud is still building up though. think we should also maybe get up to Cheetah cut line and see if we can find some tracks of that rhino in her calf. I wonder if she's been seen at all. In case some of you are not aware of it, but there's a rhino with a fairly new calf that's been seen up in the eastern part of the world, of our world at any rate. I wonder where the zebra went. They were heading south from the south of the dam. They might have cut through up onto Weaver's Nest and gone towards Philemon's cut line. Go with monkey tracks. The zebra have touched on this road and headed west up towards Weaver's Nest, but we're going to be going to the east for now after we visit. Oh, here they are again. They've actually come back to this road now. So they're still heading south. Maybe they're at Twin Dams. Didn't come through. Somewhere ahead of us, just south of us, are some zebra. These tracks are fairly fresh. That way. Like the guys at Botanical have been quite busy working on roads, fixing a lot of the erosion and... Oh, big snake. Where did you go, snake? Went that way. Good afternoon, Sandy. Talking about rhino horn. What is the rate of growth of rhino horn? And at what age does the horn stop growing? I have no idea the rate of growth of a rhino horn, Sandy. I couldn't tell you. I haven't the faintest idea. At what age? Well, it doesn't really stop growing. It's like fingernails. It just keeps growing until the rhino dies. It gets worn down because they rub it against trees and things and they round it off. But no, I don't believe that the rhino horn does stop growing. Maybe it does. Maybe I need to learn something about that. Zebra tracks are still here. But no, to my knowledge, it's like elephant tusks. They just keep growing. But I couldn't tell you the rate of growth. 1 or 2 centimeters a year. I'm not copying you, Seb. Hello, Emily. What is a buffalo horn made of? Is it alive? Or is it like keratin? Interesting. Emily. All the antelope and the buffalo, all their horns, everyone except the giraffe and the rhino, I suppose. All their horns are a horny covering of the actual skull. There is the skull. I wonder if we can find that skull. I'm going to have a look. The skull itself is not a separate thing to the horns of the antelope and the buffalo. It's all one thing. The skull has these bony protrusions that are covered in a horny covering. So that all of them have the same kind of horny covering that is made up of keratin. It's the same substance that rhino horn, well, kind of similar, that rhino horn is made from, or comprised of. To a large extent very similar to that of fingernails and hooves. Hooves essentially are just modified fingernails at any rate. So the horn itself, the actual horny covering of the antelope and the buffalo is not alive as such. But inside, underneath the horny covering, where there is bone and nerve endings and blood vessels, there it is alive. And that is why the other day we saw that one buffalo who had a newly freshly broken tip to his horn. Hello, hippo. Been a while since we've had a hippo here at Twin Dams. We could see blood coming out the tip of his horn when he had broken the tip of his horn, that buffalo, the other day. Now there used to be a buffalo skull just off in the grasses here. Let's see if we can go and find it. I don't know if it might not have been taken or something, but let's have a look. We'll see if it's still there. Is that 50? 50? Okay, thank you, Joey. According to the Rhino Resource Center, 50 millimeters a year. That's roughly 2 inches a year. Well, there you go. I learned something new. Now this buffalo, excuse me doves, if I can find it. This was a buffalo killed by the Mapokos a couple of years ago. So the skull, if it is here, would have been lying here for at least 2 years, maybe. Long grasses, and I've got to try and remember where I saw it, because it was somewhere in here. Somewhere in here. Sorry, Franklin. And these grasses are very long and green, and I don't know, might be easier to see it in the dry season when all of this dies back, because I'm now thinking I've come too far. Gosh, we're at Stump Mark Day today. Hello, William. How many species of bats are in the area? Gee, I'd have to go through my book and count, William. Probably a good dozen or so species or more we have. I mean, the thing is, that's just near to where we are, where there are rivers. There are a couple of species of bats that you would get that we don't get here because we don't have the trees for it, especially like the fruit bats. I mean, this is right within the distribution range of the fruit bats, yet we don't get any fruit bats here because we don't have the riparian vegetation that the fruit bats are famous for living in and utilizing. Things like the big sycamore figs and some of the other large fruiting trees, more jackalberries. So we only really have things like mostly all the insectivorous bats, the free-tailed bats, sheath-tailed bats, bulldog bats, horseshoe bats, leaf-nosed bats, pipistrelles and myotis bats. And so much for looking for that buffalo skull for you folks, to try and show you. I don't think it's here. Or if it was, maybe it's been taken. I'm just trying to think. There was another buffalo skull that I found one day. Where was it? Oh, that was up near the gate. Sorry, breaking up too much, Seb. No. 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 Okay, so we're moving on. We're going to head east. Get through this dip. Probably pick up a better signal on the radio again. All I know is that there's a question from Indiana. Leadwood Road. Yebo. Oh, Louisiana. LA, not Indiana. Janice, hello there. And welcome. What other duties do we have, Tara and I, concerning the animals? Don't really have many duties regarding the animals, Janice. We don't really have much to do with the animals. Being a national park and a game reserve and things, everything takes care of itself. So there's very little that we have to do or can do. But also, from just in our capacity as presenters for Wild Earth Safari, we don't have anything to do with Djuma and the game reserve itself. That is all the responsibility of the management of Djuma and the guides of Djuma. So if anything, we are kind of guests here. So we don't play any role in any part of habitat management. And as far as the animals are concerned, well, nature looks after itself. This is big enough and vast enough that nothing really needs to be done here as far as the animals are concerned. There are, sadly, the odd occasion when a human negligence or human interference has caused some problem with an animal, then we would report it, but there would be nothing that we personally could do about it. As far as our other duties are concerned, well, we have a lot of other duties in between our drives that we engage in that has all got to do with Safari TV and Wild Earth Safari in terms of post-production work and writing scripts and doing voiceovers and writing blogs and keeping up our own knowledge, researching stuff. I should be doing a lot more so that I don't have so many questions that I say I don't know. But you know, I have to just say one thing on that. Nature is incredibly vast, and even if, oh, I think that might be Battaliers up ahead. Their nest is here. And there was a youngster in that nest. There's the nest. But you know, you could study an ecosystem and an environment all your life and not know everything. And then nature in itself, every part of it, every different country, in fact, even within South Africa, all the different biomes that we have, the different ecosystems and what we call biomes, the types of vegetation and types of biological well, a biome is a vulture, and well, the Battaliers are normally here. I mean, we've seen them in this. I'm digressing, and I know I might come back to that point, but I've been interrupted. Battalier and a vulture. Battaliers are always in that tree to our left. This white-backed vulture might just be sitting here because it saw the Battaliers in the tree, and that's not from this area, and it doesn't know that the Battalier are normally here. It's got a bit of a tick. There you go, a vulture with a nervous tick. There's a remote possibility that maybe there's something here, but yeah, the Battaliers are straight forward and we'll see them. But well, this is a very common perch for this pair of Battalier that live here. Now, Battalier essentially are the
indicators of carcasses to vultures. Vultures are not necessarily as keen-sighted as one might think they are. And if anything, the vultures are looking for the likes of Battalier, and there's another eagle. This is a snake eagle, the Battalier snake eagle. I think it's now called a short-tailed snake eagle, maybe. Now, they have a very low altitude at which they fly. And while they're very good hunters, they are very keen on carcasses. And where was I now? Yes, the Batelier, they don't fly very high. So they're flying very, very low, much lower than any of the vultures. In fact, the only vulture that flies perhaps at the height of the Batelier is the small hooded vulture, who is also going to be the one that is going to find a carcass and indicate or attract the larger vultures that are flying at a much higher altitude. Now, it could just be the fact that these two Batelier are sitting in this tree that has attracted this vulture to come and look around. Very striking eagles, the Batelier. I think that's the male that we're looking at now. Those are his wingtips extending beyond his tail. As adults, they have a very, very shortened tail and almost no stability in flight. And that gives them a very typical flight pattern, a very rocking motion in flight. And I think that lends itself to the name Batelier, which refers to, what, Seb? A tightrope walker? A circus performer? Batelier.
Male looks smaller than the female.
Yeah, Daniel's just saying the male looks smaller than the female, and you'll find that with all of the eagles, the males are considerably smaller than the females. Well, he's also shaking his head. It could be that maybe they've got these tiny flies that are trying to get to the moisture in the corner of their eyes, and that's why that vulture was shaking his head, and that's possibly why this male Batelier is shaking his head. Irritated by flies. I haven't seen her shake her head. Oh, she just has now. Otherwise, they're having this amazing conversation where there's the answer no to a lot of the questions being asked. Like the vulture asking, so is there a carcass here? And then the male Batelier goes, no. And he shakes his head. And then the male asks the vulture, why, do you see something? The vulture shakes his head, no. And then the vulture asks the female Batelier, you sure there's nothing here? And she shakes her head, no. So there's this banter maybe between. Okay, my imagination's running wild. Let's continue. I'll keep my eye out for tracks, just in case there has been a predator around. We have had kills in this area before, and it might just be that there actually is a carcass here somewhere. Quite a nice shot of the two of them. Just quickly from this angle. Okay, sorry, please gather that again. I didn't get the part about Karula. If the guests or the staff, still, I don't know. Sorry, trying to understand the question.
Sorry, and you still zoomed in. Oh, I guess things are just not going right for me this afternoon. What about Karula? Sorry, please repeat. I copy you, but I just did one part. What is it about Karula, about the guests and the staff? Oh, encountered. All right. Hang on. Sorry. I think sometimes the hissing on the radio makes it a little bit difficult to understand. Maybe it's the hissing and the French accent. Sorry, Seb. Hello, Peggy. Just a nice porcupine call in the road. Hello, Peggy. Wanting to know if staff or guests have encountered Karula at the lodge. Well, there have been no guests, Peggy. There haven't been any guests at the lodge for the last 2 or 3 days. But yes, the staff have, I'm sure. I haven't spoken to any of the staff, so I actually don't know. But I would assume so. I would assume that they're aware of the fact that Karula is there. The staff would need to be servicing the rooms even though the guests aren't there. But another question this afternoon, I don't know. I really don't know if the guests, or rather the staff, have encountered her. I can only assume they have. They certainly know about her being there, let's put it that way. Everyone knows that she's there and she's been there for a couple of days. Whether they've encountered her or not, I couldn't tell you. Hello, Luann. Nice to hear from you. Luann, I heard via someone else, so a kind of broken telephone type of story. I didn't hear it from a source or anybody who was there at the time. I just heard sort of through a third party that down at Baboon Pan, or south of Baboon Pan, Safari, I think, I don't know who had made the kill, but Safari was there, Karula was evidently there as well, and evidently Karula chased Safari up a tree. What transpired after that, what the circumstances were, any other details, I couldn't get any details out of the person that told me, because they too had only heard that. That is all they had heard, was that the two of them were there and that Safari was chased up a tree. That was a good few days ago. Sorry, I was going to take a trip to the southern end of Cheetah Cut Line quickly, just to have a look. Nice big elephant tracks here. But we're just going to go and have a look over this little ridge. Elephant's headed north. Maybe he might be up near Buffels or Cut Line. There's actually rain coming out of that cloud south of us. You can see rain falling out of that cloud up. That must be down in the southern part of the Swabi Sand. This is a young bull elephant, probably in his early 20s, that headed north. But I'm also want to look for some rhino tracks, see if we can see tracks of that female, that cow with a new calf. Nothing much happening over this little ridge down towards Gary, Main. Lilac crested roller just catching something in the road. Did you get it? Roller.
You catch it, or you just feeding up. Now this looks like more than one elephant were here, and even a bigger bull. There's a young bull whose tracks I saw, and there's tracks of even a larger bull that went in there. Okay, well, we can go and look for them. Give us something to aim for. Hang on, before we turn around, the Impala ram interested in something up ahead. Seems to be looking at something. Take a quick look at that. What you looking at, Mr. Marla? Nothing. Whatever it was. His ears were forward, his head was kept still, his tail had stopped flicking. And that showed me that he was interested in something. But he's gone back to just looking around and flicking his ears. Not much I'd be able to do about it if there was something in there, because we can't go there anyway. Well, I've come this far, I might as well turn around on the main road. I can smell this rain now. Can you smell it? That rain just there. I can smell it. That rain smell. Funny how my brain works. I see something and it only registers 2 seconds later. What's that? Where about? The right hand side. Down there near Twin Dams. Any station near Twin Dams? Hyena. Hi Andrew. I'm good, and you?
No, we just kind of move to Torchwood just on the western side of Luanini. Going to take around the other Pino.
Okay, thanks. I just thought I'm up on Cheetah Cutline Junction with Gary Main. I thought I saw some camera flash down towards Twin Dams.
Okay, yeah. So anyone over the station, you're going to take driving?
No, I'm Lungus. But Karula and Mampimpa are on the deck of room 3 at the moment at the lodge. And we also found an old bumper in a tree next to Ingus Kaya, just north of Ingus Kaya. I'm sure it's not the same Ingwe.
Okay. The Karula, they're still just on the deck here from this morning.
Yeah, she's still at the room. But I was there about half an hour ago.
Alright, thanks.
And which direction was that skunk moving?
Yeah, we're moving north, away from Gary Main. So I'm going to
Okay, excellent, thanks. Yeah, I'm just following up on some Ndlovu Konzo on Cheetah Cutline.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I'm going to check up. I'm going to follow the corner from the road a little bit. Then we're going to cover it all.
Alright, thanks. I'll keep my eye out on Cheetah Cutline. That's nice news. A cheetah coming towards Cheetah Cutline. Keep my eye out for tracks. I wonder if maybe that's what that Impala wasn't reacting to, some alarm calls. Although 20 minutes ago and close to the Mulwanini. Now the Mulwanini is another river further east that we don't ever get to. So it's still a little bit further in on Torchwood. This is Torchwood to the right of us. It's a private property that we're not allowed to traverse. But this cheetah was evidently heading north, but she might also make her way a little bit west, in which case she might come out onto Cheetah Cutline. If this cheetah is familiar with the area, she'll know that this is nice and open to walk along this road. Maybe heading up towards Biffles or Cutline. So it might be wise to just spend a bit of time in this eastern part of the world this afternoon. See where these Ellies went. Pretty sky. We need to find a gap to be able to see that. Where are my friends the elephants? Hello, Jeannie. Do we live at the lodge while doing the safari drive? No, Jeannie, we don't. We have no contact with the lodge, or very little at any rate. But we don't have anything to do with the lodge itself at Vuyatela. We have our own little complex behind the lodge, and we try to be as inobtrusive as possible. We try not to interfere with the goings on of the guests and the lodge itself. However, every now and then once or twice a week, one of us, either Tara, Craig or myself, go down to the lodge to join the guests for dinner. And we can sit and chat to guests and discuss the likes of safari, wild earth safari. There are leopard tracks here. Was this the... hang on a sec. Hang on a sec. Very soft sand, so I'm not seeing these tracks properly. This is the cheetah. She was here. Andrew, come in. Andrew, I've got Mkonzo for this Kankan and Cheetah cut line at the junction of Mumba Road, but it's heading south. Well, I'm not going to be able to do much, but I'll see if I can see where she's gone. Okay, I don't want to reverse now, so I'm just going to have to walk. I just want to, because if I reverse, I'm going to drive over them. Can't quite make out where she's left the road, but we're going to do a loop down onto Drakensberg Drive, I think.
Safari.
Pardon?
Yeah, safari.
Safari, what?
Leopard.
No, it's cheetah. Well, my first glimpse at the soft sand, but it's cheetah track. That same cheetah that Andrew's been following. But now I don't know if it's maybe tracks from her coming from the north going south, and then maybe she did a loop around and it's earlier tracks. Looks like it's fresher than those elephants. Didn't come down this road, but she might have cut through onto that extension of Drakensberg Drive. And you have parrots. Who was it was asking about parrots earlier? Let's see if we can see them. Go away, flies. There we go. It's flown over that marula tree. Parrots don't sit still for very long. They've gone east, away from us. Huh. turned off the road somewhere and I just couldn't quite figure it out. What with all these elephant tracks? At one point it looks like she's on top of elephant, but there's also elephant tracks on top of hers. The elephant were here at 2 different times. It's difficult to ascertain whether she left the road to the west or to the east. Go further up Cheetah Cut Line and have a look. Hello, Paddy in New Jersey. New Jersey. Paddy wants to know what the plan is. Paddy missed Karula this morning. Paddy, we don't have much time between now and dark, so unfortunately I'm not going to make it back there unless I really rush to get back to the lodge before dark. But we are going to make our way back to the lodge, towards the lodge, shortly. We'll see if we can find her. She's just in a very awkward place. She's right at one of the rooms. There isn't much of a view on to the deck, looking through branches and things. So it was a little bit awkward to try and get a view of her there. She might move once it starts getting dark. Andrew, come in.
Hello?
I'm wondering if this Mkonzo of this Kankan is not before she went south and now she's turned around and coming back north. Were you here on Cheetah Cut Line this morning maybe?
Negative. But when they found her on Garden, I'm not sure where she's coming from. So, it was the same way that maybe the phone would go south. So they found her on Garden.
Oh, okay, copy. Did you have any Mkonzo for her there?
Not close, but further away, close to Garden. Yeah, I had a phone at north along the road, so I turned onto there. Maybe I don't know, Karula with the power line to the north.
Okay, because I'm now near Central Road and I've still got tracks coming south. Okay, thanks. Just to let you know, I lost her tracks just south of the junction with Mumba Road. It looked like she might have headed west, but I couldn't really make it out. been in glove here as well, it's quite fresh on top of her. Copy, thanks. Have a look here at the junction of Central Road. Pardon? There's so many animal tracks and hardly any car tracks. But a lot of this is from yesterday. You can see the raindrops from last night have fallen on top of most of these animal tracks. The only ones that were fresh were a couple of elephants and that cheetah. Here again, this cheetah. You see, if she was seen down on Gowrie Main, then she must have come from here. Because there's no ways that she could have made... There's the elephant that I was looking for, nice big bull. And I wish that they'd come a little closer to us. And the young bull, the big bull and the younger bull. That's quite a big bull, that actually. That's one of the big... Ooh, he's a nice big boy. Wow. Maybe he'll come and talk to me if I ask him nicely. Jumbo Tembo. Nice little gap there. He's just east of our area, so I can't go off-road and go up to him. He's a magnificent big bull. He's huge. I'd like to get to see his ears a little better. See if there's anything that identifies him as an elephant that we know from previous visits.
Looks like his right ear is a bit tattered.
Yeah, it looked like it. But both pairs of tusks are quite intact. Be interested to see if he's got a chip off of the tip of his left tusk. That's what I'm interested in seeing. Two in Glove, just north of Central Road Junction, Cheetah Cut Line, but east of Cut Line in Torchwood. Please, Mr. Elephant, sir. There's a nice little open patch that he might move into. The best view I can give you of an elephant right now, I'm afraid. He's huge. He's got that younger bull with him as an acolyte. Look at that tusk. It's got to be thicker than my thigh. Now this isn't the big old man we saw the other day with the broken right tusk. Look at the size of his right tusk. It's just as thick and big and fat. He's quite an ellie, this. See if we can move some. But he's sadly moving deeper into Torchwood. I'm not allowed to go in there. Pardon? No, I'm not allowed to go into Torchwood, unfortunately. But he's a magnificent bull. There's a youngster there, but there's a huge bull as well. No, he's gentle. You don't need to be scared of him. Sorry? No, not allowed to go anywhere east of this road.
We can take you.
Unfortunately, the equipment has got to come along. Pardon? Yes. If they were from Torchwood, I would be able to. They would be able to give me permission, but they're from Buffelshoek, so they sadly don't have much say over what goes on in Torchwood. Oh, something else up ahead. Is that the Rhino? Just crossed the road. I just saw something crossing the road. But it's also quite a way up. That is something dark. Just that's what it is. It's something dark. Coming back onto the road. Yes, please. But is this a Rhino with baby or is just a Rhino? I'm happy just with any Rhino. But I really want to see that little one. It looks like a bull. Beautiful animal, look at that. He's been in the mud. Probably at Guaripan. Coming up from Guaripan. I know this bull. Is this shorthorn maybe? It could be, I think this could be shorthorn. Andrew, one and Kombi onto the cut line near Pipeline Road. Gee, Andrew could get the big 5 this afternoon. That hat of mine, always in the way. Hey, he's going into some pretty thick bush. At least it's on our side of the road, yeah. Magnificent bull rhino. This, by the way, those of you who are not familiar with the animals we have in this area, this is the square-lipped rhinoceros, also known as a wide mouth. It's going down, back down towards Chelapan. Not Chelapan, what am I saying? Sorry, Guaripan. Maybe some of the other rhino in the area as well. Guaripan. And then Paddy will take Central Road while it's getting dark and head back towards the lodge for you. I probably missed the start of drive with baby rhino tracks. Well, young rhino, not baby, but young rhino. Been a lot of rhino here. Actually. Oh, beautiful sunset. And I've got a car in the way. Grrr. Just going to try and get that sun quickly. There's just a pocket of it coming out of the cloud. Look at that. It's been behind this cloud for the last hour or so, and now finally, just at the end of the day, just winking at us. Giant fiery eyeball winking at us just before it disappears for the day. And there will be a lovely orange moon rising soon, but unfortunately a lot of cloud. But we will try and see the moon just before we say goodbye to you a little later. See how quick it gets dark? Haha, only joking. It's the iris of the camera. We can thrust you into darkness at the flick of a switch. Very pretty.
Amazing, eh?
Does look like an eyeball
Spying on it.
spying on us. Fiery eye. Big rain cloud getting a bit closer. I'm really sad that we couldn't get to see that elephant and he didn't want to greet us and say hello. That was really sad. He's a big bull. I should have reacted a lot quicker when I saw his tracks down south on the road, and then got sidetracked by cheetah tracks. I don't know if this rhino is going to come out near Gwaripan, but he's in the stick stuff off to our left. Been rhino here all day. Rhino tracks everywhere. Been in that mud, in that wallow of Gwaripan. I saw him now. It is so thick in there, I can't even get in there with the vehicle. But to do so would only get him running, because it would be crashing through some thick brush, lots of dead twigs and branches. All it'll do is there. You just see him at the base of that knob thorn. Let's just stop and sit here for a minute. See if he might not come closer. Has he moved at all?
Yeah.
Hard to tell.
Only when he moves it I can see him.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't.
Normally the habitat of the other rhino species, the hook-lipped rhinoceros, but these white rhino or square-lipped rhino do move around a lot. Move through different habitats to get to their grazing. Whoops. I don't see him at the base of the tree anymore. I guess that's our lot today. Quick glimpses of things. A taste for what's to come tomorrow. Gives us an idea where to come and look for things. Andrew, if you're interested, there's some combis now quite near Gwaripan. It's just southeast of Gwaripan. Yeah, it's very thick Latin. I've lost the visual of him. but open lock. There was one marler that was looking interested in something on that open area where Cheetah Cutline meets Gowrie Main as well when I was there earlier. So I don't know, hard to tell what this cheetah's doing. Yeah, that's probably why the track's quite fresh on Cheetah Cutline. Impala shouting at the Mulwanini on Gowrie Main. A little bit too far east. Even if we were on Gowrie Main, we wouldn't be able to see. A little bit too far east. Maybe. Well, let's see. Maybe. Let's just head down there. Won't hurt. Doesn't hurt. Let's go and investigate. At the same time, we'll take Central Road back up to Cheetah Cutline. Lovely smells. Spike thorn flowering. Very heavy cloud up ahead. Threatening cloud up ahead. The very cloud that was spitting rain earlier. Here some of you guys are. That lovely dark stallion on the right. Hello girls and boys. There's beautiful colours in this afternoon. Late lights, just post sunset. A stallion with two mares. Get some of that dust all over me. All the members of the horse family love to do this. Daddy's turn. Bit of a mangled right ear. Should be an easy stallion to recognize again one day. Let's follow them a little while. Nibbling as he goes along. Franklin just got frightened by something. Greetings, Carl. Maximum age for elephant and rhino. Elephant in the wild 55, maybe 60 max. Rhino in the wild, 40, maybe 45. I think elephant in captivity have been known to live up to close to 100. They're listening to something up ahead. How many different types of rhino are there, Precious? 2 here in Africa. 3 in Asia, I think. Sumatran, Javan. And Indonesian. No. Sumatran, Tara knows the rhino families very well, having worked with them in the zoo. Indian was the Asian. My brain's not functioning right now. Think of the Asian rhino, the different Asian rhino species. I think there are 3. It's probably because it's getting dark. This is fairly thick bush, and these zebra have to make sure that where they're going to, it's going to be safe. That there's nothing hiding in bushes, so they're walking a little bit, they're listening, they're very alert. The 2 mares up front more so than the stallion. He's keeping an ear on us. But these two mares are quite vigilant or attentive. She stops and listens. Could be she's hearing the elephant feed. No, wait, that's right, it's an impala. What was that ran across? I think it was an impala. She's running up ahead to probably catch up with the impala, because it's probably going to feel a little bit safer for her to be around some impala. So, thanks, Tara. Yes, the Indian, the Javan and the Sumatran, the 3 Asian species of rhino. Thanks, Tara, just to confirm that. I wonder if there's something going on here. Impala, lone impala ran across the road. Let's stop and listen with the zebra. Wish that I had their hearing. That was funny. That was rather comical. Hi William, wanting to know when the last time we saw black rhino in the area. Black rhino or hook-lipped rhinoceros. Not in my time, William. We did have a black rhino that came through the area. We found its dung, we found its tracks. It must have been about at least 18-20 months ago. Nearly 2 years ago. Perhaps. I'd say about 18 months ago. However, it wasn't seen. by anyone that I know of. And since then, I'm not too sure of any reports of black rhino in the area. We haven't seen any signs of them. Just gonna have a look at it, see if these elephants haven't turned around maybe. You know me and elephants. That was such a big bull. Beautiful big bull. Thought maybe he's wandered back towards the road. I mean, all the way from Gari Main he walked on Cheetah Cut Line. And then here where I want to see him, he's in Torchwood. I can smell him. I can smell him. So close. Oh. Yet so far. So close. Yet no cigar. Okay, it's not here. So we're going to go back towards the lodge. If that cheetah is anywhere to be seen right now, she's not going to be seen because we don't use lights on cheetah. So tomorrow we will come and follow up on cheetah tracks, perhaps. Might be lucky. And then in the blink of an eye, the zebra have disappeared. Were they but a figment of our imagination? I'm pretty sure they were there. But look at that. I mean, they were standing in the road 20 seconds ago. And now, can't even see a striped rump, for the love of horses. So, we're heading east? No, we're not. We're heading west. West, young man, west. East is where the moon's coming up soon. West into the night. And let's go and see what's happening around Gari Dam. Really? Seems so much lighter tonight than normal for this time of day. All about timing. Our timing today was just a tad off. Oh.
Hello, wee pet. Something to know if, when we see something on drive, if after drive we go back to be with it, and if that's the time we study it. Not really, not like this elephant, and it depends on the animal, it depends on the circumstances, but generally no. Generally, the animals get a break from the vehicles between game drive times. There are times, sometimes, when I'll go out afterwards, mostly not at night. I do like to go out in the full moon with my Land Rover and just drive without lights. But only if it's something really, really special, if we maybe need to film it some more. But we sometimes have so much else to do, and also the other matter is this vehicle has to be on charge all the time. When it's not driving and filming, we've got to have it on charge, so we can't use this vehicle, and we're not really allowed to use private vehicles. My Land Rover is green and it looks like a game drive vehicle, and I can use it occasionally just for wildlife safari purpose or wild earth safari purposes if we need to do some extra stuff. But no, the time when I spend time with animals and do my own type of stuff is when I go home. That's when I can spend all day with animals, or just sit at a dam all day, or walk with elephants, or just I can do what I want to do. Here's a duiker. Oh, it's gone. Little duiker, grey duiker. One of the smaller antelope that we have here. Owl and the buffalo. Well, not yet tonight. There have been times when we've had lion or leopard on a kill that I've gone to see them after drive, but it doesn't happen very often. It's starting to get chilly now, and with the colder weather and the dry season upon us coming around the corner, a lot fewer insects, and as a result, the one nocturnal animal that we'd like to find, the bush baby, is changing its diet right now. It's changing from insects and grubs and things like that to the gum of some of the trees. Now, some of these acacias exude a gum when the bark is damaged, when the inner bark is damaged, the xylem, and the gum is actually a defense mechanism. It's almost like the white blood cells that come to the defense of an animal that is when there's an injury. And in trees there is the same thing. Now, either you might have a milky latex, which is toxic, well, to humans at any rate. Even little minute crystals on the marulas that come to the defense of a wound also like a gum on the marula tree. Well, it's actually a liquid that crystallizes. But the acacias exude a very, very sticky gum that can be very sweet on some of the acacias, and the bush babies love to feed on that. In fact, they have within their territories specific trees that they scar with their teeth to produce, so that the tree produces gum. And like the sunbirds or the hummingbirds have flowers within their territories, and they rotate, they'll come to a flower and use its nectar, drink its nectar, and then eventually come back to it after they've done their rounds. It's very much the same with the bush babies in the dry months. They'll make their rounds to the different trees in their area where they have gum reserves. And then of course there will be no leaves on the trees, that makes it easier to see them.
easier to see a lot of things in the dry season. A lot of our marulas still got their leaves, but when we get a little bit of a breeze blowing, see how fast their leaves are falling. Anybody been here? Only hyena.
Mr. Zulu, can I help you? Good much. Yeah, good much. Yeah. Finish. Yeah, nice. Go up. Mr. Zulu, can I help you? On that damn wood.
Station with the Ingwe is at Gari Dam. Ow! Why is my hearing so bad? So, wee pet, what do we see different in the dry season? I think it was. So I was listening to the other radio. What do we expect to see? Not much different. Not much difference to what is here in the dry season and what's here in the wet season. Obviously not as many reptiles and deep in that acacia. It must be a bush baby. So far. It's just that we see things better because the bush is drier, so we see things deeper in. But it's not like there's a different set of animals that come out. It's all the same characters. Fewer insects. Of course, all the migratory birds aren't here, mostly because the insects are not here, and it's colder and they've gone back to their summer. They prefer warmer weather. There's not really that much difference. Crocodile's still where he was. See if we can get closer to see his eyes. No, it's a leopard drinking. Where the crocodile was. The leopard taking a chance. I thought it was the crocodile eyes. And it's a leopard, and it's probably the leopard that made that kill in the tree near the house. A very full leopard. And it looks like Pete and Craig are still busy here. I don't know. This is one of the boys. Looking at that tail, it looks like it could be Induna. But look at that stomach. I'm going to try and... I know the light's moving a bit. I'm just going to try and lock it off so that I can... No, I can't. Look with my binoculars. Oh, come on. Sorry, light's shaking a lot because I'm just trying to secure it that it can stand so that I can keep it. No, it's fine. Just wedge it between my knee and the steering wheel. But it's just slipping all the time. Come on. Induna. It is the young man himself. Pete! Stop! Induna's here. Yeah. Better get back to a car. Sorry, I shouldn't have shouted like that. I needed to because Pete and Craig are very busy working on the camera here at the dam, and he's being stalked by Induna. I'm going to just try and intervene if I can.
Coming your way.
Rule number 1, don't work in the dark. Renee is not watching, I don't think. Renee, you watching? Okay, Pete's back at the car, he's fine. Nell and Yak, if you're also watching. Pete's back at the, there he is. Now that tree that he's at, that's where the camera used to be. He's lying down now. Not stalking Pete anymore. Let's go in and have a look at him. This is who's been eating that impala. It's interesting that he's as close to the lodge as well, Karula's also here. I wonder if they've been talking to each other. Got a gap there. Because now the shadows are falling on him. See, these are the lengths we go to get that camera up and running for everybody. We risk life and limb. Crocodiles and leopards and hippos. Now, it was perhaps a little presumptuous of me to think that that kill in the tree was Induna's, but I was just looking at it, you know. Most of that carcass is dangling, and it was just so typical of Induna to not secure a carcass properly. He's so full, I'm wondering if he's even going to bother going back to it. And they've been working here for some time now, so I don't think there's much danger. If we think about it, I mean, he's been in camp. We've walked into him in camp. The leopards don't really associate us humans with food. Sorry, I'm trying to get my arm steady to hold the light steady. So he's probably been watching them since nightfall, since sunset. In fact, more than that. He's probably seen them here working, and yet he's still come down to the dam to drink. And my guess is that he was somewhere in the bushes where that kill was, and he's come down to drink. And it's much the same as Karula being in camp with the cubs. They see the people walking around. They don't see us as a threat. They don't see us as food, I hope. And they know that we don't ever chase them, so they're quite happy. They're quite relaxed around us to be able to walk around knowing that they're fairly safe in our presence. It's gone behind this. There he goes, back down to the wall. He's going to go to the dam wall. Maybe he's actually going to go back to that tree. Maybe he's going to go and he's washed down some of it. Maybe he's going to where are you, boss? Oh, he's right here. Right here, just behind this wattle. So I'm going to just keep the light off of him. Put my headlights on. Here he comes into my light. Look at this fat leopard. He's certainly come into his own now. I didn't think it was Karula and the cubs that made that kill. Because they would have still been around there. Oh, okay. Let's go to the toilet. Oh, my head again in my head. Let me go this side. Andrew, come in. I want to shine on him while he's on the toilet. Andrew? Yeah, where are you in for? Okay, copy. I've got Induna at Gary Dam. Well, he was drinking. I think he's going to make his way back to that marula tree where that bumba is.
Oh, exactly explain to me once again the bumba. You say it on English Road or somewhere?
If you go the road between Inga and Yuri's Kaya, to the junction of that road that goes between Yuri and Inga's, you should see one of those marulas. If you're looking down towards Inga where the junction is, you'll see one of those marula trees. I'm just going to follow him now. It looks like he's going back to that tree. I'll call you in 2 minutes. Now going back to his tree, which is Go this way, Induna. I'm going to help you find your own tree. Maybe we should just go straight back to the tree and wait for him there. We're going deep into this bush. This is where he was lying. Look, this is probably where he's been sleeping all day. Nice and flattened in there. Okay, where's the tree from here? It's just up ahead of us somewhere. Not this one. Eating grasses, of course, that's something a lot of the predators do, dogs and cats. Let's see, I wonder if that's not maybe where he made the kill. Let's see if we can make our way around that bush. Helps push things through the gut, helps cleanse the gut. Some of the grasses have got stiff hairs on them that point in a particular direction, and it actually can help rid the stomach of internal parasites. Just quickly while we're here, because I'm going to have to say goodbye soon, I wanted to show you something else. We're just going to sit here for a bit with him, but more than that, I just want to show you something else while he's busy chewing on grasses there. Look there. Happy full moon, everyone. A bit of cloud boiling underneath the moon. Perfect evening. A leopard in the moonlight. That is for all my fellow lunatics. Okay, he's moving, we're moving. It is end of drive, but I'm gonna just stay with him a little bit. Hope you don't mind, folks. We're just gonna follow him a little way, because it'd be nice to see him get back into his tree with the kill, if he's gonna go that way. Lost him already. No, he's lying down. We'll give it a couple of minutes and see if he's going to go anywhere. We're not too far from the tree. We're still about another 60-70 yards. I mean, he's not in a hurry to get to it. I don't know if you saw his belly, but he's got a really full belly. Probably been feeding on that Impala since yesterday, even the night before. Picking up the scent of something now, lifting his head. I'm just going to take the light off of him for a sec. I'm just going to look around a bit. Okay. All we have is an ear. Well, it might be a time now then to say goodbye. Looks like he's rolling over and not ready to go anywhere fast. And it's pretty thick. I can't really change position to get a better view of him. There's no... He's just rolling over. What? Maybe I'll get up. Let's give it another minute. Okay, well, I think I'll take this opportunity to say goodbye to you all and
We have our work cut out for us tomorrow morning. I hope you can hear me. Beautiful view of the moon. You know what? I want to do something before I say goodbye. Sorry, Seb, I know I probably. Let me just move away from him. Then I can just get out and say goodbye to you properly. Go back. I'm going to have to go back anyway instead of forward. Pardon?
Yeah.
Okay. Hide behind this bush and go down a little bit to that bush away from the cat. And I can say goodbye. And what I do want is I want the moon over my shoulder when I say goodbye. The moon, my moon, beautiful moon. Okay, he's not coming. He's there. So, can you see me fine? Been a fun afternoon. Glimpses of a few things, and then lucky enough, we've had 4 leopard this afternoon. That's pretty amazing. I wish we could have seen that big elephant bull, and maybe we will tomorrow. Elephants don't necessarily travel in a straight line. Sometimes they zigzag, and well, we've got some things to go and look for up on Cheetah Cut Line. We're also going to start and look for this young man, and maybe we'll even look for Karula and the cubs. So we've got our work cut out for us in the morning. My name is Mark. Daniel has been on camera, and Seb has been in final control. And from all of us here at Wild Earth Safari, bringing you the best we can from the Djuma Game Reserve, goodbye, good night, and thank you for joining us.